Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to be talking about individualized lords and are they fun now? It's a big question as a lot of reworks have come into effect alongside some new units. So in this video we're going to talk about Skrag the Slaughterer. If you'd like to see more about all these things coming in update 6.0 and Omens of Decay, I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/The Great Book of Grudges. Pop by, say hi and we can talk. But yeah, Skrag is a character that got a big rework with the Ogre Kingdom stuff, and also got some changes to how his faction plays generally. We'll talk about the faction and lord effects quite quickly, because it does fit into a pretty interesting campaign style. So, gains access to powerful rewards based on number of active offerings to the Maw, a unique mechanic for him. Meat gained from battles plus 10% for all armies. Campaign movement range plus 10% for all armies. And Lord and Hero recruit rank plus 2 for Slaughter Masters and Butchers, those are your spellcasters. For your Lord effects you've got Offer to the Great Maw minus 50%, Attribute Devastating Flanker for Gorges, which is quite cool, Upkeep minus 20% for Saber Tusks, Blood Vultures, Yetis, Thunder Tusks, Stonehorns, and Gorges unit for Lord's Army. Yes, you're going to be focusing around a lot of monsters for Skrag, but potentially your whole army too. And finally, ability Gorge Your Onslaught. Now the idea here is, can you theme him to be focused around monsters and just be all over the place in a most disgusting way possible? And yes, so let's jump into the campaign. So your campaign starts off in the same location as before, nothing's changed there. You've got access to a camp from the very beginning and a settlement, and you're at war with the border princes. But it can get a little bit interesting for you because you've got some changes. Obviously, your unique skill line is going to focus around making him stronger, regeneration, ward saves, more meat gained from battles, but you can have heavy bonuses towards all your monsters now. So it's not just Gorges, it's going to be all your big boys, and you're also going to get some pretty good bonuses for spellcasting. The way that I've seen Skrag lately is a mixture of spellcasters, monsters, and hunters. Your hunters will be able to reduce the upkeep of all your monsters, which means that you'll be able to run all the monster stacks that you want, and having a very different campaign for Skrag than you would with anyone else. This paired by the fact that your settlements will allow you to get Gorges and Yetis all the way from tier 3, and that's not very difficult to get to if you start getting some growth buildings in there. Remember, the settlements still use growth, it's camps that use meat to expand, but yeah, you'll be able to get your monsters really early. You start with a tier 2 also, so you can already start getting some battle cats, some blood vultures, and start working towards getting some more hunters. You will start off with a hunter from the very beginning, however. In camp settlements, all your main monsters will be in one line, so you can focus on that and then just start getting administration buildings to get some extra income coming in, and that means that you can keep running armies. Ogres can be quite expensive, but I feel like Skrag has it a little bit better, mostly because of all the resources around that can make them a little bit cheaper. We'll talk about that in just a second, but it does make it a lot better to run multiple armies if you so wish. The campaign that I'm playing right now is just a tester one, so there'll be a few examples. So when it comes to hunters, focusing on them if you're going to be running 4 monster stacks means that you can buff them up quite well. Their unique line really makes them powerful. It's a whole line pretty much dedicated to them, increasing their speed, their attack, their recruitment rank, reducing their upkeep. Sure, it's only 5%, but if you get 2 hunters in there, and then obviously you start getting in the upkeep reduction that your lord would naturally have, it does end up being quite strong. You'll be able to run a fair amount of them, and plus they can also have the Stonehorn. And in the Horde section of your tech tree, this is the brand new technology rework, you've got a whole section on the right hand side of the Stonehorn head. That's the format of this technology tree. You can actually get all the bonuses very early on to all your monsters. There's also upkeep reduction over there too. Your monsters will still be kind of cheaper in some cases than most of your Ogre units, depending on the unit itself. The line is fast to progress through. You're going to be starting off with Battle Cats, so you might as well be focusing on that and then just going through everything else. The big benefit that Skrag has is there are a lot of resources in your immediate area. Straight from the beginning, you've got pastures which increase your unit mass by 5% when fully upgraded. You've got 2 literally right next to each other, so that's quite strong. And as you start progressing through it, you will notice that pretty much every region, almost every region around you, has some pretty good bonuses. The big ones there are the salt regions, where there's 2 right close to you, and there's a lot of salt in the Badlands. That reduces your upkeep of all your armies by 3% if you've upgraded it fully. And I think in the Badlands there's about 3, 4, maybe even 5 around the area. So as you start progressing through there, you're racking up upkeep production like nobody's business. There's other ones too, which will increase your missile resistance for all your armies, increase local recruitment capacity, whilst also increasing leadership aura size for all characters faction-wide. You're going to be able to really make your army fully monster heavy, smashing through enemy lines. I'd say a little bit better than Greasus, because you do have all these bonuses naturally across to you, and you also have bonuses to your leadership for your characters, your hunters, to make sure that your monsters keep in check. You're in one of the most resource-heavy locations, and since these resources now upgrade all the way up to tier 3, you start reaping in the benefits really, really quickly, and you can focus on these buildings as ogres. You don't have to ignore them like you would some other races and then replace them later on, because your main stuff is coming from the camps. So it works absolutely perfectly. Your unique mechanic is actually tied to your standard one. As you are aware, the Great Maw has been changed a little bit to work more as a static type of upgrade. Now, Skrag has the same thing, but in the same way as Epidemius. The more offerings you have active throughout various different characters, it doesn't have to be one specific lord, the more bonuses you'll get for one, all factions, so all armies. You get more winds of magic, more meat produced, and you also get an army ability at the very end. Alongside that, you'll get some bonuses towards Skrag to make him even more powerful in battle. The system introduced to Epidemius is actually quite good, so it's nice to see it being reused. It's almost identical, yes, but when it comes to some characters, that works enough, as long as it fits with their lore and their actual playstyle. Now, a big caveat here is if you're going to be focusing around monsters, yeah, you're going to be dealing with army builds like this very early into your campaign. Don't worry, this isn't going to be the thing for like 20 turns or so. Once you get to turn 12 or so, you'll start being able to get Yetis and Gorges, so it looks a lot better. The problem with this was I needed a second army very, very quickly because the border princes were coming for me, and I was dealing with Gorbad very, very early on. And also my mistake here was I decided to go for full saber packs, but without getting any vultures. And I didn't have a hunter here because I wasn't able to recruit one just yet. I was building up to get another one, but I had 2 running with Skrag, so I could start reducing the upkeep of the forces as much as I could, because the Gorges are still kind of expensive. So here we are at turn 45, and honestly, it was kind of interesting just going full monster. The bonuses are quite good, so you can see a lot more meat coming in. I mean, Skrag is stacked. I haven't been sending a lot to the camp, mostly just upgrading the camp building by building, and I've been running around through multiple areas. I have 2 main armies up and running. Skrag is dealing with Belagar, and another one had just beaten back Thorgrim, who was causing me a lot of problems, but then he managed to peace out. You got a decent amount of money coming in, and yeah, you can build up a lot of armies. The main thing, and my big mistake here, was not building enough camps, because camps do help out quite a bit, especially when it comes to getting more hunters coming in. It's a pretty fun campaign in my own personal time. Oh no, I had 3 armies. I just remembered there was a second one with another hunter. The more hunters, the better. You can start reducing the prices quite dramatically. But in my own personal campaign, I was mostly doing something similar to this. Spellcaster lords, 2 hunter heroes, and then just loads and loads of monsters. It sounds weird, but it works. Skrag is supposed to be a bit more primal, so you've got that benefit there. So, is update 6.0 better for Skrag? Yeah, I'd say Skrag actually feels kind of unique if you're going to be going by that regard. You can still do that army style with other factions. You could do it with Greasus, or you could do it with Golg, but I feel like Skrag fits that theme a lot more, which is nice, because extra meat, extra camps being built up really, really quickly, and then just loads of monsters charging all over the place. Full Gorgeous stacks are really cool, especially if you have like supporting units in there with a few Yetis, and a Thunder Tuskor 2 doesn't hurt too, because, yeah, they are pretty overpowered. You won't need conventional ogres on foot, that's for sure. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. I'm live on Twitch if you want to pop by. We're going to be doing Greasus today, I think. But yeah, have a good one.